You have been told your entire life to share your goals, to announce them to the world, to tell the people around you what you are building so that the accountability will keep you on track. Every productivity guru, every motivational speaker, every well-meaning mentor has given you some version of this advice. Write it down and tell someone. Make yourself accountable. Share your vision and watch it become real. And you have probably followed this advice. You have announced the goals, posted the intentions, told the people whose opinions matter to you what you are working toward, and then something strange happened. The momentum that existed before the announcement, the quiet burning energy that was driving you forward, disappeared. Not all at once, gradually, like a fire that was covered before it had a chance to fully ignite, and you could not explain why. Because the advice seemed right, because accountability should work, because telling people should create commitment. But your subconscious knows something that the motivational culture has been getting catastrophically wrong for decades. And today I'm going to show you what it knows. The neuroscience of why announcing your goals is one of the most reliable ways to ensure your subconscious stops working toward them, and what to do instead. In 2009, a psychologist at New York University named Peter Gollwitzer published a study that should have changed the way the world thinks about goal setting, but somehow never received the attention it deserved. Gollwitzer and his team ran a series of experiments in which participants shared their goals with others, or kept them private, and then measured how much effort each group applied toward actually achieving those goals. The results were striking. The people who had announced their goals consistently applied less effort toward achieving them than the people who had kept their goals private. Not slightly less effort, significantly less. And the mechanism Gollwitzer identified explains exactly why. When you announce a goal to other people, especially to people whose opinion you care about, the social acknowledgement that follows, the nods, the encouraging words, the expressions of belief in your ability, triggers something specific in the brain. It triggers what Gollwitzer called a premature sense of completeness. The social validation of the identity you have described, the person who is going to achieve this goal, provides the brain with a taste of the satisfaction that achieving the goal would produce. And the subconscious, which is always optimizing for the most efficient path to the desired emotional state, registers this satisfaction and reduces the urgency of the actual work. Why put in the full effort to achieve something when the announcement of the intention already produced the feeling that achieving it was supposed to generate? The goal has been partially experienced socially, symbolically, emotionally, before a single action toward it has been taken. And the subconscious reduces its investment accordingly. To understand why this happens at the subconscious level, we need to understand something about how the subconscious relates to identity. The subconscious is always working toward consistency between who you believe yourself to be and what your life reflects, between the identity you carry internally and the reality that surrounds you externally. This is the mechanism that drives genuine change. When the subconscious identity updates, when you genuinely begin to believe at the subconscious level that you are a different kind of person, the subconscious works with extraordinary precision to make the external reality consistent with the new internal identity. It filters perception differently. It generates different instinctive responses. It makes different options feel natural and different options feel foreign. This is how genuine transformation works. The identity changes first, and the reality follows. But here is what announcing your goals does to this mechanism. When you announce your goal to the social world, you are not just sharing information. You are claiming a new identity. I am someone who is going to achieve this. I am someone who has committed to this path. I am someone who is building this. And the social world responds to this identity claim. It begins to treat you as if the identity is already real, as if you are already the person who achieved the goal. The encouragement, the expressions of belief, the shift in how others relate to you. All of this provides the subconscious with the social confirmation that it was expecting to arrive after the achievement, not before. And the subconscious, receiving this social confirmation, reduces the urgency of the internal drive that was supposed to produce the achievement, because the social identity has been established. The internal work feels less necessary. The person who works in silence is protected from this mechanism, because the subconscious has no premature sense of completeness, no social identity to maintain, no external validation that has already partially delivered the satisfaction that achievement was supposed to produce. The unannounced goal lives entirely in the internal world, as a gap between the current reality and the desired one. And the subconscious, which is always working to close the gap between identity and reality, works with its full intensity toward closing it, because nothing else has partially closed it. The hunger remains. The drive remains. The specific quality of subconscious urgency that produces genuine forward movement remains intact, because it has not been satisfied by the social acknowledgement that announcement would have provided. This is why the people who build the most significant things in their lives are rarely the ones who talk about building them. They are the ones who are building quietly, consistently, without the approval of an audience that does not yet know what is being constructed, and without the premature satisfaction that approval would deliver. The ancient Stoics understood this intuitively. Epictetus warned specifically against sharing philosophical progress with those who had not asked for it, not because the sharing was wrong in itself, but because the praise of others for our wisdom produces the same satisfaction as actually becoming wise. And the subconscious, receiving that satisfaction, reduces its investment in the genuine work of becoming. Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, the most intimate and honest account of a person's inner work ever produced, and never shared them during his lifetime. He was the most powerful person in the world, with every reason and every opportunity to announce his intentions and his progress, and he worked in silence, because he understood that the work required silence to be real. There is a second mechanism through which announcing goals undermines them, beyond the premature sense of completeness, and it is the one that creates the most damage for people who announce their goals repeatedly to multiple people in multiple contexts, who build an entire social identity around what they are going to become. Each announcement is a performance of the intended identity, and performances require the management of the gap between the performance and the reality. As the gap between the announced intention and the actual progress grows, as the time passes and the goal remains unachieved while the social identity of someone who is achieving it has been established, the subconscious begins to experience a specific kind of cognitive dissonance. The internal reality does not match the external presentation, and the subconscious, which is always working toward consistency, faces a choice between two ways of resolving that inconsistency. The first option is to do the work that would close the gap, to achieve the goal that has been announced, But this requires the full effort that the premature satisfaction of the announcement has already reduced. The second option is to quietly revise the internal belief about what is genuinely possible, to lower the expectation toward the level of what has actually been achieved. The subconscious often takes the path of least resistance, which is the second option, and the result is the specific and painful experience of the person who announced a goal with genuine excitement and genuine intention, and then watch their own belief in the possibility quietly erode, not from failure, from the specific way that repeated announcement without achievement undermines the subconscious's investment in the outcome. I want to address the most common objection to what I am describing, because most people who hear this will immediately think of the accountability argument. The idea that sharing goals with others creates the social pressure that keeps you on track. That the fear of disappointing the people you have told is a motivating force that compensates for the premature satisfaction effect. And it is true that accountability relationships have genuine value for certain kinds of goals, particularly the goals that require external structure and habit formation. But there is a critical difference between genuine accountability and announcement. Genuine accountability is a specific, structured, private relationship with one person who is invested in your actual progress, who asks about the specific steps taken this week, who challenges the rationalizations, who knows the difference between real momentum and the performance of it, and who has agreed to play this specific role deliberately. Announcement is the broadcasting of identity claims to an audience, to social media, to family gatherings, to professional networks, to anyone who will listen and respond with the social validation that the premature satisfaction mechanism requires. The first is a tool. The second is a trap. The test is simple. After sharing your goal with this person, or in this context, do you feel more driven to do the actual work, or do you feel a sense of relief of having already done something toward the goal by telling someone about it? If you feel the relief, you have experienced the premature satisfaction mechanism, and the announcement has taken something from the goal rather than added something to it. Working in silence is not just the absence of announcement. It is a specific practice with specific subconscious effects that go beyond simply avoiding the premature satisfaction mechanism. When you work in silence, the goal lives entirely in the relationship between you and your subconscious. There is no audience to perform for, no external identity to maintain, no social expectation to manage, just the work and the internal relationship with the work. And this internal relationship, when it is not complicated by the presence of an audience, has a specific quality that is genuinely different from the motivated performance of working toward an announced goal. It is more honest, more direct, more genuinely yours. You are not doing the work to confirm the identity you have claimed in the social world. You are doing the work because the work matters to you, because the gap between the current reality and the desired one is real and internal and has not been partially closed by anyone else's acknowledgement. This is the quality of motivation that the greatest builders have always drawn on. Not the external pressure of accountability to others, not the performance of commitment to an audience, but the internal drive of someone who is working towards something real in the only place where real things are built, in the silence of genuine commitment that has not been diluted by the premature satisfaction of social validation. The philosopher Rainer Maria Rilke wrote to a young poet who was asking whether his work was good enough to share. Rilke advised him to go into himself, to find the deep place where his life took its rise, and to ask whether he would have to die if it were denied him to write the answer to that question, asked in genuine silence, not in the presence of an audience whose approval might distort the answer, is the most reliable guide to whether the goal is genuinely yours and whether it is worth the silence that genuine pursuit requires. Now, let me give you the specific protocol for working in silence, for protecting the goal in the subconscious while you build it, rather than dissipating its energy through announcement. The first element is what I call the internal declaration. Every morning, in the theta window after waking, you spend 10 minutes in the felt experience of the goal as an internal reality, not as something to be announced to the world, not as an identity claim to be validated by others, but as a deeply personal, genuinely felt commitment between you and your own subconscious. You inhabit the felt sense of what it would be like to have achieved the goal, the specific quality of satisfaction that is uniquely yours, not performed for an audience, not described in words that would make it comprehensible to someone else, simply felt in the body, in the specific emotional reality that the goal represents for you. This practice does something that announcement cannot. It deepens the subconscious investment in the outcome because the felt experience of the goal is entirely internal. It has not been partially satisfied by social acknowledgement. It remains fully alive as a gap between current reality and desired reality, and the subconscious receiving the daily felt experience of the desired reality without any social shortcut to that experience works with its full intensity toward the genuine closing of that gap. The second element is the work log, a private, physical journal that records only the actual work, not the intentions, not the plans, not the identity claims, the actual steps taken each day toward the goal. This practice creates the accountability that genuine progress requires. Without the audience that would trigger the premature satisfaction mechanism, you are accountable to the log, to the honest record of what was actually done. And the log does not respond with encouragement that produces premature satisfaction. It simply records what is true. One of the most common practical challenges for someone who has decided to work in silence is the social question. What do you say when people ask what you are working on? What do you say when family members want to know about your plans? When colleagues inquire about your next project? When friends ask about your goals for the year? The answer is not deception. It is not the aggressive secrecy of someone who trusts no one. It is simply the redirection of the conversation from the identity claim to the actual work. I'm working on some things. I will tell you more when there is something concrete to show. That is all that is needed. This response is honest. It does not announce an identity that has not yet been earned by the work. It does not trigger the premature satisfaction mechanism, and it leaves the social relationship intact. Because genuine relationships do not require the constant performance of future intentions. They are built from the genuine sharing of present experience and past achievement, not from the announcement of goals that may or may not be realized. There is also a more fundamental question worth sitting with. Why do you want to tell people about this goal? What is the need that the announcement is supposed to satisfy? If the honest answer is that you want their validation, their belief in you, their excitement about what you are building, that is the premature satisfaction mechanism speaking, and knowing that it is speaking gives you the choice to work in silence instead, to let the work produce the satisfaction, rather than the announcement. Working in silence does not mean permanent secrecy. It does not mean never sharing what you are building or never celebrating what you have achieved. There is a specific and important difference between announcing an intention and sharing an achievement. Announcing an intention before the work is done triggers the premature satisfaction mechanism and dilutes the subconscious investment in the outcome. Sharing an achievement after the work is done does neither of those things because the satisfaction being shared is real. It was produced by the actual work, not by the social acknowledgement that stands in for it. This is why the people who work in silence are often the ones who have the most genuine things to share, because they have been building rather than announcing. And when they finally share, there is something real to offer, something that exists independently of anyone's approval or belief, something that required no audience to become real. The sharing of genuine achievement also has a specific quality that is different from the performance of announced intention. It is quieter, more certain, less dependent on the audience's response, because the work has already validated itself. It does not need the validation of others to be real. It already is. The Stoic philosophers called this the distinction between preferred indifference and genuine goods. The announcement of a goal and the social validation it produces is a preferred indifferent, something that feels good, something that is not wrong in itself, but something that should not be confused with the genuine good of actually achieving the goal. Work in silence, let the achievement speak, and then share the achievement with the quiet confidence of someone who built something real. History's most significant achievements were almost universally built in silence, not because the builders were secretive or antisocial, but because they understood intuitively what Peter Gollwitzer's research would later confirm, that the work requires silence to be real. Leonardo da Vinci kept his notebooks entirely private during his lifetime. The most comprehensive record of a genius's working mind ever produced was never shown to another person while its author lived. Not because Leonardo was ashamed of what they contained, but because the notebooks were the place where the genuine work happened, where the ideas were tested without an audience, where the failures were recorded without the social cost of public failure, where the thinking was done in the silence that genuine thinking requires. J.K. Rowling spent 5 years writing the first Harry Potter novel before telling almost anyone what she was working on. 5 years of daily silent work toward a goal that she had no external validation for. No publisher's interest, no reader's encouragement, no social proof that the work was worth continuing, just the internal commitment to the story and the subconscious investment in the outcome that remained fully intact precisely because it had not been diluted by the premature satisfaction of announcement. Charles Darwin spent 20 years developing and refining the theory of evolution before publishing it. 20 years of silent work, of collecting evidence, of testing ideas, of building the case with a thoroughness that the pressure of public expectation would have made impossible. When he finally published, the work was unassailable because it had been built in the silence that genuine intellectual achievement requires. Each of these people understood something fundamental about the relationship between silence and the subconscious's investment in the work. The silence was not a limitation. It was the condition under which the most important work becomes possible. When you commit to working in silence, something shifts in the relationship between you and your goals. The first thing that shifts is the quality of the motivation. Instead of the external pressure of social accountability that dissipates as the announcement fades from others' memories, you have the internal drive of a subconscious that has not received any premature satisfaction, that experiences the full weight of the gap between the current reality and the desired one. and that works with its full processing power toward closing that gap. This is not a more comfortable form of motivation than external accountability. It is a more honest one, and it produces a more consistent effort than the fluctuating energy of social pressure. The second thing that shifts is the quality of the work itself. When you are working in silence, without an audience whose approval you are seeking, the work can be more experimental, more genuinely exploratory, more willing to fail in the ways that genuine creative and intellectual work requires, because failure in silence costs nothing. It is information. It is the necessary component of finding what works. Without the social cost that public failure carries, the third thing that shifts is the relationship with the goal itself. When the goal has not been announced, it remains entirely yours. It has not been shaped by others' expectations, not modified to fit what the social audience can understand and appreciate, not compromised by the need to make it comprehensible and impressive to people who are not building it. It remains in its most genuine form, as the specific internal reality that your subconscious is working toward, undiluted by the performance of it for others. Let us come back to where we began. You have been told your entire life to share your goals, to announce them, to make yourself accountable to the social world, and you have followed this advice, and you have experienced the specific deflation that follows the disappearance of the quiet burning energy that existed before the announcement, the gradual erosion of the subconscious investment in the outcome, the gap between the identity you announced and the reality you are building becoming a source of subconscious dissonance rather than of genuine drive. Now you understand why Gollwitzer's research confirmed what the Stoics understood 2,000 years ago, what Leonardo practiced without naming, what Darwin built into the structure of 20 years of silent work. Announcing a goal provides the brain with a premature taste of the satisfaction that achieving the goal was supposed to produce, and the subconscious, always optimizing for the most efficient path to the desired state, reduces its investment in the actual work. The three practices that protect the goal: the internal declaration in the theta window every morning, where the goal is felt as a genuine internal reality rather than performed as a social identity claim. The private work log that creates accountability without audience, and the commitment to sharing achievement rather than announcing intention, work in silence. Not because the world does not deserve to know what you are building, but because what you are building deserves the full investment of your subconscious. And your subconscious invests fully only in goals that have not been partially achieved by someone else's acknowledgement of your intention to pursue them. Let the work be the announcement. Let the achievement be the identity. Let the silence be the condition under which something genuinely extraordinary becomes possible. Subscribe to Awake Mind. I will see you in the next one.